Are you ready for more Sub Ohm? Of course you are. Hello fellow vapors, Vaping Newbie here, and yep, I'm diving into a Sub Ohm tank again. This one came courtesy of my good friend Murray at Stratus Cloud Vape Fuel and Gear. I met Murray several months ago via Facebook, and I've never actually met Murray in person. But we used to joke around a lot about the Anokin SVD, and even then he was carrying gear and had some really good prices, put some really good packages together. He doesn't have a website per se, nor brick and mortar, but I'm going to put the link for his Facebook page down below. Go give it a look, give it a like, and that'll open up the opportunity for you to view the products that he does carry. And one of the things I like about that is he's not just carrying the run-of-the-mill products. Sure, he has some there. He has the IPV, and he's got some really good pricing. But he also carries things like the FreeMax Starre that you don't see everywhere. So this is really, really exciting for me. I'm looking forward to it. But before we get into the actual tank tonight, I always like to stress these tanks are coming in at Sub Ohm. There are two coils included here, which is a 0.5 and the lowest I have vaped thus far, a 0.25. That's included with the kit. The kit sells for $45 on Murray's website. It's a really good price and fantastic, if I may say, fantastic customer service from Murray. Now, the reason why I want to just stop everything, you want to make sure that you have the correct device. There's been a lot of postings about one incident that, you know, it was just some guy that seemingly on the surface didn't really know what he was doing, didn't take battery safety into account. And that is so very important these days. So personally, I would recommend using all these Sub Ohm tanks on only regulated devices that can carry that Sub Ohm build. Quite simple. Now, having said that, you're going to see later, but these coil heads, the 0.5 is recommended 20 to 60 watts, and the 0.25 is saying that you can go from 20 to 100 watts. I don't have a 100 watt device because, in my opinion, I wouldn't use it enough. So I'm going to be maxing it out at 60 watts, which I've never vaped that. So this is really, there's a lot of thrills going on for me. So let's take a look at the tank. I want to thank Murray again for trusting me with this. Folks, his first order, his pre-order sold out in hours. He did another pre-order after the first order came in and was distributed. He did another pre-order, and that sold out within hours. So there are a lot of good people saying a lot of great things about this Sub Ohm tank. So I want to get to it. Let's go take a look. Okay, here you go. This is the box, all plastic. So it shows that they took some care with it. It's not just a cardboard box. On the back, it has a bit of story on the actual FreeMax Starre, some basic specifications, and the components that are enclosed, as well as the regular underneath here disposing of the box. You have the word Starre, and my good friend Murray says the Rock Star. It's by FreeMax. You open this up. Now this was tape closed, so I took the tape off just for ease to get to it. And there you have the tank, which of course we'll look at in a moment in a different view. You have the plastic insert, which you lift up, turn it upside down, and you have a spare glass tank, which is important on any kind of glass clearomizer or RVA for that matter, and a spare coil head. And underneath that are a set of instructions, and these instructions are really, really clear and concise on everything that you need to know about this and how to work it under different conditions. So I think FreeMax has put together a really nice looking package here. And as usual, you're seeing it for the first time as I'm seeing it for the first time. I like to open these up on the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camera angle. We're going to take a much better look at the FreeMax Starre Sub Ohm atomizer. Here's the tank. It's all surgical stainless steel and Pyrex glass. It does have the word FreeMax and on the other side Starre. Very nice drip tip. It's kind of a wideish bore, but it does taper in. it is tight. I pulled it and taken out a couple of times to see how loose it would get. It didn't really get that loose at all. So it has a nice tight fit to it. And there was a spare O-ring in the package that I did not see. It was wrapped with the 2.25 ohm coil. You're going to see that in a minute. It has a knurled piece at the bottom, and then it has dual airflow control. So you have one there, and you have one there. And it does have a, looks like stainless steel or silver plated 510 connector. And it is not adjustable as far as I can tell. There is no screw head on it. Let me see if you can see that a bit better. There's no screw head on it, and it is not spring loaded. So it is what it is there. Adjusting the airflow, I have a bit of an issue right away. I was playing with it, and when it's at its smallest, I can easily move it to its biggest just by turning the knurled area. Now, when I go to adjust it the other way, it unscrews it from the base. So I think I'd be better off if there had been juice in there to remove this part, put the tank aside, and then hold it here and then adjust it if I want to tighten up the draw. I wish that was a bit easier to do. Now, I think the biggest selling part of this tank thus far is the coil heads, which we're going to look at more in depth. However, it's the first dual vertical coil heads on the market, and that interests me a lot. So far, the only thing that I've seen that makes me go like that is the airflow control, and this is how you're going to fill the tank. You're going to fill the tank through there, and you don't want to get any juice down that tube because you're going to be sucking it into your mouth. And there is on the side, I hope you can pick that up, there's sort of like those little metal pieces that are holding everything together, and that means you're going to need a needle nose bottle or a syringe bottle to get the juice in without getting it down that middle hole. But let's take a look a bit closer at this revolutionary new dual vertical coil sub ohm head. We're going to look now at the two coil heads. So on the just for an example, this is the Delta coil head, and that's the FreeMax coil head. So again, Delta and a FreeMax Starre. You can see it's quite considerably smaller. However, when you look inside it, there's just chock full of cotton in there. Just chock full of cotton. You can see the wires. Now both of these coils are exactly the same. Don't look at my nails, folks. And really, really nicely put together. Some good juice holes for wicking right around it. 4 juice holes for wicking. That's always a plus. And now let's take a look at the writing that's on it. There you can see that it says 0.5 ohms or 0.50 ohms, depending on how you look at it. It says 20 to 60 watts. So this was the coil head that was inside the tank, and now we'll look at the other one. Okay, so there you can see where it says 0.25 ohm, 20 to 100 watts, which would be discussed. I think that's rather high, but that's just my opinion. And this was the spare coil that came in with it. The other, as you saw, was a 0.5 ohm, which is what we're more used to on these sub-tanks. So this is going to be really, really interesting. I'm going to clean it up and give a good juicing to both coils, because I want to try them both at different wattages just to see what kind of difference it makes. And however, I should point out that my SX Mini will only go to 60 watts, so I will not be surpassing 60 watts. I'll probably go 50 watts on the 0.5 ohm and 60 watts on the 0.25 ohm. Sorry, I just don't have that powerful device, but I don't think it's needed, and that's why and that's, again, my opinion. And don't all start giving me thumbs down on this. So that is the 0.25 ohm coil, which is going to be the lowest that I've ever vaped at. So I'm really looking forward to this. Before I get to using the tank, I should point out that I said that there was an exchangeable glass tank if you break it. To access that, you simply twist the top and bottom in opposite directions. The whole base unit comes out, and then you just simply unscrew the bottom ring where it says Starre or FreeMax Starre, and there you go. You see that it's only held in, it's not screwed in, it's only held in by an O-ring on the top and an O-ring on the bottom. Put that back all together. screw it in, and now we're going to get to the filling and take it for a spin. I cleaned it all out, gave it a good wash, good rinse, and then for the last 15 minutes I put some juice in the coil head, so it's just been sitting there. Now to fill it, you want to really be careful, as I mentioned before, because you have that metal thing, so you want to tilt it, and I'm lucky that this bottle will fit in, and you fill it up. It takes about 5 milliliters of juice, and let's get some in there, and we'll give this a whirl. Keeping it this way, of course, you screw in the bottom that has the coil head. I'm going to let that sit for a bit and get ready, put it on my device, and we'll see how it goes. So, as I mentioned before, I had the, for lack of a better term, the coil head steeping for a good 15 or 20 minutes, loaded up with juice, and you want to do that. You want to really prime that coil. And then added the juice into the tank, and just enough for testing purposes for the moment. This is the 0.5 ohm coil, and it's registering 0.51. I'm vaping it at 55 watts, and damn. What I always say in all my videos is I'm not a cloud person. It's just not me. I do it for flavor. And thus far, with the Sub Ohm tanks that I've tried, this tank, and keep in mind, folks, they're all being used with 0.5 ohm coil. They're all being vaped at 55 watts, and they're all being vaped with the same juice. Matter of fact, I gotta get some more. This, by far, combines the two, hands down, the best. I got the airflow wide open, as I did with all the other tanks, to try to keep that equality. So, you know, damn fine tank. Obviously, it'll as the kids say, chuck some clouds, and it doesn't do it at lack of flavor. So you're getting that really good combination. I am really stunned. It's everything that I've heard it was. And why am I stunned? Because not a lot of people know about this tank. Everything else was so well advertised. Nobody knows about this. And yet it doesn't have a rebuildable deck, which, you know, it doesn't bother me, to be perfectly frank. The idea behind what these Sub Ohm tanks are is that anybody can put in a coil if they have the correct device, and I can't stress that enough, and load it up with juice and blow a cloud and get flavor. And you did have that on the previous sub tanks, the Sub Ohm tanks, to be sure. But this is by far a more prominent taste. And I do, you know, should take in the time out to say the juice that I'm using is a zero nicotine juice. You want to take that in mind. If you're vaping 12 in a Clearomizer, you're going to want to drop that. You want to drop that to 6 and maybe even 3 if you necessarily want the nicotine, because this will hurt. Just my thinking. And before you get started, again, strong stress, you want to prime the coil because you do not want to dry hit at these high wattages and low resistances. So let me change out the coil head to the 0.25 and make vaping newbie history. It's getting foggy in here. Got the 0.25 ohm coil in. It's registering 0.27, and I'm going to boost this. And this is definitely history for me on two fronts. This is the lowest resistance I've ever vaped, and it's the highest wattage I've ever vaped. I'm kind of scared. Ken, if you're watching, this is the best that I could do, okay? Folks, Ken is my buddy. I call him the Cloud King, and we joke around a lot. So I have to give him a shout out there. Murray, this thing is freaking amazing. So here we go. 0.25, it's 60 watts. Oh, wow. got to plug the cup, right? Okay, so my final thoughts on this tank. It really is, you know, the word amazing can be overused, but it really is an amazing tank. I like the way it was presented. I love the look of it. I should point out that if you pre-order with Murray at Stratus Cloud's Vape, Fuel, and Gear, he will throw in a Pyrex drip tip, which dissipates the heat, which is important because I found that with the stock drip tip, it got really hot, but this, not so much. Just really good taste, really good clouds, in my opinion. And for a guy that's not a cloud chaser, I'm enjoying the hell out of this thing. I've been using it, I'm going to say a lot, okay, because I like to make sure I enjoy it. I had one little hiccup, and it leaked all my juice out overnight. And I think that was a bonehead move on my part. I just don't think I screwed the base in enough. Now, that brings me to the one thing that there are two things that I was like this about. But the one is a bit bigger than the other. The airflow adjustment I found was tight, and when I tried to make it smaller from its largest setting, what happened was it disconnected the base from the tank. So you feel it screwing. It's not like it's doing anything, but that may have been the cause for the leak. Maybe I didn't realize I had unscrewed it. As far as filling the tank, it's a bit tight, but I had no issues with a regular tipped bottle, so I didn't have to use a needle nose bottle to get the juice in. No, I didn't have any spillage. I didn't get any going down the pipe. So that's really it. I mean, you can look at it and say, well, yeah, but the stock drip tip gets really hot. It's a 0.25 or 0.5 ohm coil at 55 to 60 watts of power. Yeah, it's going to get hot. Guess what? That's what it does. So I can't really look at that as a downside to it. It'll suck a lot of juice, to be sure, and it'll go through batteries at 60 watts. You're going to be going through a lot of 18650s. And again, I have to reiterate, I'd be an idiot not to. Make sure your device handles it properly before you take the step. But it's a step well worth it. It really produces that vape, and I can't say enough about the flavor. Again, using that same juice on all the tanks, all the Sub Ohm tanks that I have, the Kanger, the Atlantis, the Delta, and now the FreeMax, this by far had the best flavor of all of them. So it does combine those two things. Well worth it. Go on that Facebook page, give them a like, and take a look. It might be well within your interest to put one on pre-order. Marie, I want to thank you for sending it out to let me have a try at it. I always enjoy trying new products, at least new products to me. And I want to thank you folks for dropping by, spending some time with me. You know I love having you over. So stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.